West Ham did an awful lot right in the summer transfer window. Let's face it, Mohammed Kudus has been an absolute revelation. He was sensational, absolutely sensational against Freiburg. But it's not the only time. So he scored 7 goals this season for West Ham. That was what the stat that was said. I've got to be honest with you, I haven't gone and verified it or checked it. But during the commentary, that was the stat that was said. And then the commentator also said he scored 4 for Ajax. I seem to remember it, actually. I remember when we were being linked with him and you were sort of reading in the newspapers and on the websites and whatnot whether or not we were going to sign him. He was saying this guy who we're being linked with has just scored for Ajax again. I might have this wrong. He might have scored a hat-trick in one game. But whatever. Anyway, it's impressive, right? So far this season, if you put that together, then he scored 11 goals this season. Pretty impressive from somebody that obviously plays as a wide player. Then the commentator went on to say that he'd scored 18 goals last season. Again, incredibly impressive goal statistics. And you would expect, if you extrapolate the data that we already know, that he'll possibly score another 18 goals this season. Incredible. We've got ourselves a really, really good player. And whatever he was, 34, 35 million, whatever it might have been. Excellent. What a fantastic player. I didn't know. Sorry, this video is meant to be about Álvarez. We'll get this. How good Kudus is, by the way. He deserves his own video as well. But when it was being suggested that we might lose Jarrod Bowen, I was thinking to myself, this is going to be tough. In fact, Bowen at the time hadn't signed a new contract. Liverpool was sniffing around. There's Saudi interest in Mohamed Salah. And we sort of looked at it and thought, well, maybe, just maybe, Liverpool might come calling for Jarrod Bowen. Those are the rumours in the newspaper. And I looked and I'm like, we're screwed. There's no way we'll find a player who's as good as Bowen on that right-hand side. Well, we have. We absolutely have, and that's brilliant. I mean, the brilliant thing is we've kept Bowen as well. And what I would say is actually, we've got some really top players. When Jarrod Bowen and Mohammed Kudus are playing on top of their game, honestly, they are incredibly good attackers. And I think you can factor in the person I did want to talk about, Edson Alvarez, into that, and Lucas Paquetá. When those guys are at the top of their game, they can perform at a world-class level. They're absolutely brilliant. So that was a good signing. Look, Kudus a good signing. Mavropanos, 17 million. Brilliant signing, right? I think so. And put it into context. We went and got ourselves a centre-back for 17 million. It's not like the 35 million we've been spending on, and we bought ourselves a squad player. Really good one. James Ward-Prowse, it's been a good signing. He's created the most chances in the Premier League this season out of any player. That's a good signing, right? All right, fair enough. They might be from set plays, but who cares? We're creating chances, right? However, Edson Alvarez was absolutely majestic. There were 2 things. You've got 2 examples of quite how good Edson Alvarez is. The first one was, you saw it against Freiburg. The second one was when he was missing against Fulham. Somehow he's become crucial to how we play. He made us tick so much against Freiburg. What you got to see from Edson Alvarez was every single facet of midfield play. You had your assist, which was a beautiful dinked pass over the top, made at Ajax, that was, of course, poor old Ajax. That was obviously dinked over the top from Mohammed Kudus, who did really, really well. We've already spoken about him. I've spoken about that goal yesterday. But the chip was excellent. It was beautiful. Really, really well timed. As I mentioned yesterday, the way he stepped back, created the space for himself to actually make that pass was really good. But it was a complete midfield performance. Because what you had was the assist, then you had the goal. And by the way, the goal, he was involved in the build-up play as well. Obviously, a couple of interchanges with Paquetá. Little 1-2 with Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen obviously played his part, made a really neat little pass through. And then Edson Alvarez advances on goal, gives the goalkeeper the eyes. I'm assuming he gives him the eyes because I think the goalkeeper thought it was going to his left-hand side. Actually went to the keeper's right-hand side, finished it really well. They didn't finish it like somebody who played a lot of his career at centre-back, did he? So you had those. You had the assist, you had the goal. You had some really decent passing from him as well. And then you had your defensive play, which is what I want to talk about in a second. But, I mean, as a demonstration, as an absolute demonstration of midfield play, I thought it was excellent. And my word, we were relying on him. Look, I know that Gio has already done a video on it, and Gio has spoken about this in terms of us buying a player. We'll get to that in a second. He's absolutely right, because it's quite stark. Have we massively missed Declan Rice at West Ham? No, that's because Edson Alvarez. But I tell you now, when Edson Alvarez doesn't play, you realise you miss Declan Rice. In essence, you're really missing Edson Alvarez in there, because last night against Freiburg, he made us tick. Before I go any further, can I please point you in the direction of today's sponsor, which is BetMGM, and particularly towards a game called Golden Goals. It's a lot like Super 6, if you've ever played that, and you get a chance of winning a top prize of £2 million. Now, don't get me wrong, you would have to get all 6 Premier League fixtures correct in terms of the scorelines. That's a hard thing to do. But what it does also do, it pays out for the person that does best in that game week as well. You share a prize pot of £5,000. A couple of weeks ago, 3 people shared £5,000. They've got £1,666 each. 2 weeks ago, someone got the £5,000 for himself. So you don't even have to just get the top prize. That game is free to play, but it is a betting app. So if you are into your betting, then it's got a load of other offers on there. Really, really good offers. How you can boost your ACCAs, £40 worth of free bets if you deposit £10. We'd really appreciate if you download it. A link is in the description below. If you click that, I know you've come from Hannah's chat. It does us a massive favour, truth be known. We'd really, really appreciate it. But as ever, bet responsibly. It is a betting app, so it's 18 years and over. But give that Golden Goals chance. You don't have to. That's free. You don't have to deposit anything for the Golden Goals. I've been playing it, so if you think you're pretty good at predicting Premier League results, turns out I'm not, and you fancy winning a bit of money for free, give it a go. Links in the description below. Look, Edson Alvarez, in terms of making us tick, incredible, absolutely incredible. You had this, I don't know really what was going on with the formation particularly. It looked like James Ward-Prowse was playing as a number 10. So James Ward-Prowse was doing a lot of pressing, him and Jarrod Bowen up front. Now, going back to Mohammed Kudus was really linking brilliantly with Vladimir Coufal. He was linking brilliantly with Jarrod Bowen. So there was some good link-up play. We've already ascertained that for the goal, he linked up fantastically well with Edson Alvarez, right? However, so Kudus made that attack tick. He really did. But Edson Alvarez, it was quite incredible. There were times when I found myself looking at the screen, not knowing if we were playing, what formation we were playing. There was a reason for that. Alvarez was dropping back into centre-back. And what was happening was Mavropanos was ending up at right back, which was allowing Vladimir Coufal to push forward. So Vladimir Coufal was there on the right, basically at times popping up at right wing. He was able to do that because he had the security of Mavropanos behind him. Mavropanos was able to do that because of Edson Alvarez. Now he's comfortable at centre back because he's played there before. What he was also doing was just affording a lot more freedom again on the other side, that a Gerd could go down there, and which was allowing Emerson to push forward. On 2 occasions, Emerson was the furthest forward player for West Ham during that game. It was really quite remarkable. And I just think if you're doing that, defensively brilliant, you're getting the assist as well, and you're scoring goals. It was the complete midfield performance, and it wasn't something we are used to seeing. It wasn't something we would expect to see. It was absolutely brilliant. The biggest thing you could say about Alvarez's performance was when he went off was the only time that they really started to bother us with any sort of sustained pressure. And I use that in its loosest possible term, sustained pressure. I don't think Freiburg did have sustained pressure, but when Edson Alvarez went off the pitch, Ward-Prowse had to step back into central midfield. Him and Souček struggled in a way that just wasn't happening before. Primarily, I think, as well, because we weren't pressing from the front because Ward-Prowse wasn't there. His pressing was excellent. But also what it did, Mavropanos wasn't able to go wide right at that point, which meant Coufal had to drop back. You also had a point where Gerd and Emerson had to do a lot more defending once Edson Alvarez went off. It was a really weird situation, actually, and you couldn't help but think all of these players have been impacted by the substitution of Alvarez. Alvarez had to go off, by the way. He'd taken a knock. I was amazed he came back out for the second half, quite frankly. But if that is not the very definition of a player making a team tick, I don't know what is. That everybody's job became harder. Everybody around that back line had to sort of shift position, go a little bit tighter. And, of course, he's got the assist and he's got the goal during the game. It's absolutely remarkable. It really is. I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant performance. My word, we need him. Because of that, I've never been overly bothered when people get yellow cards. I am bothered when he does because I'm now cringing because I think, you know what, we can't. I was just about to say we can't do without him. And then I sort of stopped myself. But maybe we can't. If you look at what happened against Fulham, I don't think it's all that. I think sometimes always people are looking for one smoking gun. I think there might have been lots against Fulham. It might have been a fatigue, fixture congestion, illness. But one of those factors was Edson Alvarez not being there. There's no doubt about that at all. Edson Alvarez was a big, big miss in that game. We need him. I think he's a miraculous signing. And it's just something that got me thinking, actually, to sign him and to sign Kudus, obviously both from Ajax. I don't feel guilty. I was going to say I feel guilty. I don't. But we've definitely plundered Ajax. Absolutely, we've plundered them. But what is clear, if we can pick those two players up for £30-odd million, £35 million, whatever it might have been, that's making you wonder what we could do if armed with another £35 million in the January window.